Yeah.
Welcome to Summerland Enchantment. The year is 504 as we move into the autumn of the year. Welcome to our Halloween special as we celebrate Samhain. Let's do a very brief intro from each of our folks. Since we've got Cyberbro reoccurring here, why don't we do that thing where we actually explain our costume to some degree, actually, in the intro? Yeah. And then talk about, you know what? Explain your current costume and the worst costume you've ever had.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah. Who wants to go first? I won't put people right on the spot. Anyone ready?
I am.
Go for
This
it.
one's pretty bad, but still. I'm Emily.
How
I
dare
play
you.
Beatrice. I'm Kim Possible. I have the cargo pants on, but you can't see any of it, I've realized, on camera. So it just looks like I'm wearing a black t-shirt.
And you're
my
in
hair
an
is also
even
red
smaller
on this camera.
display tonight. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's worse. And this camera decided my hair isn't red. So it was Kim Possible at one point. What is it now? Who knows?
You're trying.
Worst costume I ever had was I went as a cowboy as a child. And my parents were very sure I had this giant stuffed horse. It was a stuffed animal horse that went around my hips. Whatever, a normal kid thing. It poured rain, and I then stuck dragging around a soaking wet stuffed animal that was the size of me because I was a child. And my parents were very much like, you chose it, you're walking with it. We are doing Halloween, and I walked with a disgusting soaking wet stuffed animal for hours. What it felt like. It likely wasn't, but still.
Anyone ready next?
Yeah, I'll go. Hi. So I'm Rebecca. I'm dressed up as Zatanna from DC, and similarly, I have the whole thing going on despite camera restrictions. I think my worst costume I ever got it might have been probably in the 5th grade. I really wanted to be a witch, but my mom didn't want me to, so I just picked out a random outfit from the catalog, and it was like a compromise because it was just a little witchy princess thing. It was a Halloween princess, but it had like the streamers and everything. I was like, this sucks. But I had a lot of really good costumes.
That's fair.
All good. I'm Nicole. I play Sir Elian. My costume is Rena the Teenage Witch. I don't have the same problem as they do because I knew you can't see me very well on the camera, so I didn't bother. I did pick this because I have this boy who I don't think you can really see.
You can see him
in the camera.
Yeah.
Can you see him?
Yeah.
Can you see Danish?
Indeed.
Yeah, I got him bat wings and was going to be a vampire, but his bat wings don't fit him yet because he's not even 5 months.
That's fair.
My worst costume, so my mom's big into sewing, so as a kid I always had really, really good costumes. My worst costumes are ones that I put together last minute and didn't make any sense. Because they were mostly just, I had to cope with something that was kind of a thing.
That's fair. We'll go over to Cyberbro next.
All right. Howdy, y'all. I am Cyberbro. I'm playing Sir Julius Lucius Julius Julianus. That's a tongue twister. My current costume, I'm a chef. I'm actually a chef in real life, so I'm just wearing my work clothes, I guess. My worst costume, I was a pumpkin one year because I had an orange sweatshirt, and so I was a pumpkin. We were low on funds that year.
That's fair.
So I was a pumpkin.
All right, and I'm Bob. I run this thing. As far as my worst costume, it's kind of like it was the best and worst costume, so I'm going to kind of break my own rule. The costume was amazing because we made, following up the X-Men movie, the old one, the first time you saw like Mystique with that like weird like textured skin. With that movie coming out, we were like, we need to be mutants with like funky skin. We didn't know what to do with it, and being teenagers, we're like, we'll make our own skin. So we used paper mache, a whole lot of glue on the skin, all over the skin. So the costume lasted about an hour really well, and then started to kind of fall apart. But it wasn't until we had to peel it off our skin and realize that our skin was coming off with it that it was probably the worst costume ever. So, yeah, I was proud of it in the moment though. Like we did something cool, and that's what I got. Yeah, it was me and my friend Dave. It was a good time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Bob and Dave. Yep. Makes sense.
Yep. Okay, so, and I guess my costume for now is you can say Peaky Blinders or you can say a 1920s reporter. I don't give a, just make something up. Who gives a fuck? Like, seriously, that's what I did. I went in my closet and was like, I have ties in a shirt, and that's how this came about. So, all right.
You were apathy personified.
Listen, no one would even question it if this was the Call of Cthulhu stream, but it's not. So I've got some explaining to do. So, totally not. No reason to think that. So let's go into let's go into the game. We're gonna start very briefly. Beatrice, I need a spiritual test from you.
Okay. Spiritual feels very low. I succeeded.
Okay. In that case, there is no scene. We will continue.
Oh.
I'm used to it being the opposite.
Yeah, I know. Do you have spiritual ticked?
No?
You may now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
We will move next to this kind of be like a group scenario. This is just before that, like this is like 3 days before Olwen would typically depart for the Princess of Autumn. It's like right before she would exit through the veil to the Unseelie Realm. But that's not happening today. And I'm totally not buying time while I check to make sure that my volume mixer is at a level because it likes to drop. No, it's good. Okay, you see an entourage. You see the typical entourage you see is typically the Goblin Knight when they come from the Vale. But today you see a much larger escort and the banners of your mother.
Oh no.
Everyone here can see this because you're all residing here right now in Barrowcrest Manor or in the town nearby. That's a good question for Cyberbro. Where is Lucius Julius Julianus dwelling currently? Have you taken up in the manor? We can verify with. Would Olwen offer hospitality to the one that brought Finnegan, Anakin, whatever you want to call him?
Anakin, yeah, I like
Yes. If she's hospitality 17, I think it's hard for her not to offer it. And, you know, it is also very much, if he's in the manor, it's easier to keep an eye on him.
And maybe just verifying with you, Cyberbro, would you stay right here?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, well that makes it easier then. In that case, I think without testing, let's do. We're gonna assume that Olwyn's alerted by whoever finds out. So we're gonna let Olwyn get a pass on this. No need to test. For Emily, Nicole, Cyberbro, I will get like an awareness test. And this will kind of be circumstantial. Are you around? Do you hear it coming? Do you see it coming?
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
Hey.
This
all
seed
right.
now includes all of you.
Oh, yes.
We'll explain this to the one who's never seen this before, really. So for Lucius, you see what looks like an entourage you'd expect for any sort of royalty, except for it's very different looking. It's led by what looks like a knight in green, but he has his helm off, and his skin is also green. He is riding not atop a horse, but a boar. From the looks of it, a giant boar is his current mount. There is a giant in this entourage, standing roughly 12 or 13 feet tall. There are little tiny men with discolored skin. Think the goblins from Moria in Lord of the Rings, for a little bit of a reference. Various disformities, and not quite that, but it's a good visual cue.
Well, this is for me.
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't mean yours. I meant the Lord of the Rings reference. Yeah.
Got you.
And then there is a lady kind of riding atop a steed with multiple of these figures around her. They look like knights in dark armor. All of them have helms, and their armor looks very sophisticated for this time period. As they start to make their way under the banners of, well, this would be the equivalent of peace banners, right? Like they don't look like they're readying for war. They look like they're here on some kind of diplomatic mission or envoy.
I think anywhere else, Lucius would assume these people have leprosy. But we're in Summerland, so this is obviously some magic.
You've heard some stuff. I need you to test Valor for your first time experiencing this.
Ooh, Valor. Okay. Oh, success.
All right, go ahead and tick it.
Sweet.
Yeah, your horse is uneasy. You feel that same uneasiness going through you. You're like, what a coincidence. You see the lady herself is actually this I don't think this has happened yet. I need you to make a chaste roll for me. Chaste or lustful. You can choose which one you test unless one of them is famous at 16.
Okay, I'm going to test Chase. Okay. I've resisted Olwyn's charms. Oh.
Now I need you to test lustful.
Okay.
Okay, that's a good outcome for you. Yeah. You're not going to develop an amour for Olwyn's mother, the Queen of Winter. You will, however, you'll still have some effect. So the primary effect you're going to feel from this is like you kind of can't stop looking at her. Like think majesty, like you're in a bit of awe from seeing her. She's very beautiful and very otherworldly kind of beautiful.
Okay.
If Olwyn were to represent sort of what one might call like a perfection for a mortal like look on the verge of supernatural or otherworldly, this person's doesn't look like a person. There's changes about her visage that are both intimidating and lovely, and that's what you get. And here's a cue for that for now. Just to, I don't have any of the fancy. You know, I'll bring you guys over. Even though you're not in their court, I might as well bring you over to where a lot of the tokens sit right now. So, it's kind of what you're working with. The rest of you know this group, so it's no surprise. We'll kind of zero in on Olwyn as you approach. What do you want to do? Assuming you do approach, what is your intention here?
She will of course approach and, curtsy. Mother, I am unused to you coming to escort me. To what do I owe the pleasure?
She smiles. Olwyn, I've heard news. Is it true that there are invaders in Summerland just now?
Is the mist still around from Cadwy?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Well, yes. Cornwall, I believe, has been invading all sorts. But Cadwy has put up some defenses.
Has he?
That's all. And,
She
so,
looks at you. I need you to make a deceitful test right now.
Oh, deceitful?
Cadwy's put up some defenses?
Yeah, the mist.
It's not doing a whole lot.
Okay. How confident?
That's a genuine...
I remember Olwyn not being too happy with Cadwy's attempts at putting up a response.
Yeah.
I need
she
so
was.
I won't call you out on deceitful, but I need you to test deceitful because I think there's a part of Olwyn that could betray herself in her confidence of
That's fair because she is a Cadwy apologist, but also, it's kind of been
to a point.
Been losing that shine a little bit. Where am I? Deceitful. I'm okay if this fails. Yeah, it fails.
All right. I need you to do the opposite. Honest?
Honest. Yes.
All right. You may tick honest. She says, oh, has he? You mean this mist, I assume.
It is all he managed to do. Yes.
Has he learned nothing from Uther? What are his plans now? Will he send you all into the mines, in the marshes? Wake them out?
That was his plan. And as much as I honor King Cadwy, I wasn't pleased with that decision. But this is
Nor
all he
should
could
you be.
do.
All he could do?
All he was willing to do and all he is able to do now. It took a lot out of him.
She just looks super disappointed. I don't think you've seen her be anything but amused in a while, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the same way. And I think as she's saying that, there's a part of her that hates that she's feeling the same way as her mother, like being on the same page as her sucks. But
I'll do what I can for you, my daughter. That will start with relieving you of your duties for this year. Or at least until Cornwall is no longer a direct threat.
I think she exhales just like kind of like more relieved than she thought she would be. That would be. It would be good to be able to focus on what's going on out here. Thank you.
In addition, she raises her hand, and 3 little men move forward. They look to be about 3 feet tall, each of them. They don't look the part of the Unseelie. They look kind of just more like fairy folk. We will do a fairy lore test for all 4 of you.
Great.
Interesting.
I've succeeded.
Okay. Okay. Lucius, those are the smallest little men you have ever encountered. And they seem a little off, but you were told lots of things the first time you came into Summerland about how weird it was. So I'm sure you assume they're something not quite right, let's say. Likely fairy folk, given what you, or demons or whatever. I can't remember what your angle was when you came to Summerland all those years ago. Squire, weren't you?
I think it was more so fairy folk. I think it wasn't necessarily that everything's a demon.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was because I attempted to hug a giant, so
Yeah.
he's a little open-minded. Like, okay, fairy folk, they're just short men with weird noses that in one eye or something. I don't know.
Yep. Okay. Let's see here. So, success for Olwen. You know what these are. You know they're brownies.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Oh, good.
There's 3 of them. Nicole, I need you to make a recognize roll plus 10.
Pat and Petra better start making some cakes.
Success.
Okay.
Do I know them?
These 3 are renowned as the Brothers 3. And they are renowned amongst the fairy folk for their building of fortifications specifically.
Are they known to be unseelie, or they kind of don't belong to a court?
They don't belong to a court.
Okay.
They consider themselves to, like, a lot of fairy do not belong directly to a court. If they were to go unseelie, they wouldn't be brownie anymore, and they would not be helpful. Yeah, and they wouldn't be helpful.
Yeah,
And
so these are more like the ones that Blood and Glass would have had relations with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think to add this is only because you critted that this is happening, and then the recognized success. They built her father, the king of over there, a new tower while you were dwelling there. And you would often ride out past the tower. It only took like 3 days for the tower to be built.
Awesome. Alien is pleased with this.
I don't think I will test to see if any of them recognize you. I think it's very unlikely. We'll give them like 3s. Oh, one kind of stops as they like walk past you, and they're like, "Sir Knight." They bow, not that they have to, because they're like, you're on a horse, or are you mounted? Right? Probably you might not be mounted because you're
probably not, because I wasn't planning on being there.
They don't need to bow at their height, at their stature. They certainly don't need to bow.
Yeah. Do I know their names, or are they just the brothers three?
Yep. Mort, Gort, and Bort. Yep.
Incredible.
Yep.
Which one recognized me?
I don't know if you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Arbitrarily, Mort's my favorite.
With that, they'll continue past you. And they just start looking around. The Goblin Knight speaks up, and he says, "You might consider keeping your clergy away from them."
Well, as long as they stay away from the temple, I'm sure it shouldn't be a problem, but I will keep that in mind. Is it because of the excessive blessing that they tend to do?
They aren't very fond of Christendom in general.
I see. As always, I appreciate you looking out for me.
He nods. And then he kind of looks to Lucius and kind of eyes him over. Like, I mean, this isn't the first time you've seen him measure another knight, and that's exactly what he's doing. This is a violence look, a test of, is this guy worth his measure? Who is this? I don't know him. Kind of look. Mm-hmm. With that, she says, "Well, I'm certain you have pressing matters to deal with. In that sense, I will say my goodbyes. So sorry that we couldn't stay and treat longer, my daughter."
Well, that's... Sorry, I panic. Well, it was very kind of you to be looking out for us here, and it is appreciated. Thank you. And I think she's going to try and fix her with a very sweet look.
Is this a sense of true gratitude or courtesy?
I think it is true gratitude, and it's very much in Olwen's, there is a little bit of suspicion there. Yeah. She's famously suspicious of her mother.
I don't know why, but fair enough.
But in the truest Olwen fashion, the idea of there's always goodness, even if it's just a kernel. And it's her, I think, seeing it or trying to see it and reacting that way, hopefully helping it grow.
I need to know first how Beatrice feels about that.
I I muted myself in a different way, and I couldn't remember how to turn it off.
MVM, most valuable mom.
I mean, Beatrice, I think so. Beatrice has a very known dislike of Owen's mother and pretty much anything Owen's mother does. And Beatrice also failed at realizing what they are. So Beatrice is
Hey, lollygaggers, sorry to cut you off. Yeah,
No,
welcome in, Raiders.
Hi.
Yeah.
Welcome.
It's a Halloween stream.
Hello.
So I think because I also failed the role to figure out what these things were. So I think Beatrice has just watched Olwen thank her mother for 3 very small looking possible knights. She doesn't know.
Oh, you know they're fairy folk. I think it was to distinguish you know they're brownies. You were here for the boggart episode. Yeah, you were, because you healed Jaren's horse. You think these are boggarts, and you're really test your suspicions. Yeah.
Let's go.
Hey, TK Clear. Welcome, friend.
This is so high.
Oh, buddy.
I succeeded.
Tick that really high suspicious as you start to really zero in on maybe on them more than worry over your friend.
So yeah, I think Beatrice, anything having to do with Owen's mom just generally makes Beatrice upset. She doesn't like it. She doesn't like any of this. And also, like, she's like, army, why 3 boggarts? Like, why? What does that do for us? Yeah, I think Beatrice is back looking displeased as she normally does. She's looking generally displeased. She does not like Owen's mom and is very defensive.
That's fair. We will, well, maybe we'll check in real quick with Nicole to see if Sir Elian has any particular response to this, this reaction of, you know what? Why don't you test the intrigue for me? I think we need to know. Okay. You pick up that Olwen was more than courteous to her mother. She seemed genuinely grateful.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. I think she's a little more concerned about she's actually going to greet the old men, the brothers 3. Do not write down what you call them.
Yeah, a brothers 3.
Brothers 3. Mort, and Word. It's a pleasure to see you again, and I admire your work, I guess is what she says, something along those lines.
They look at you, 2 of them look at you confused. The third one looks at you with recognition, but doesn't seem to really know you either, and says, oh, they're like, well, thank you. They're like, we are looking forward to this fine work. We should get started immediately. Perhaps after a meal? They all look to Olwen.
Okay. I could have a cake ready quickly.
Yes, cakes. Many cakes, another one says. And they...
as many as we can make. Cats, Petra!
Brownie is known to be particularly gluttonous.
Give me a stewardship roll. They aren't actually typically gluttonous. They are typically requiring of kind gifts, basically. Yeah.
I just like the idea of them being gluttonous.
And then if you don't give them, they turn terrible.
Yeah, they turn boggarts.
Yeah. So give me...
Did you say a distaff?
Yeah, give me a distaff roll. Let's just make sure nothing goes wrong with... Okay. Because you are talking about Kat and Petra, who are historically people that don't like you.
Yeah.
But I think you've been kind enough to them. So, with that, the escort is gone, leaving you back in a manor surrounded by mist. A very supernatural mist.
I will say, absolutely, I've been kind to Petra and Kat despite not liking them so much, because I absolutely could have kicked them out into Faerie or the forest. But they're treated well, they just don't get the best jobs.
That's fair. All right, so advancing forward. Hey, Coyote Kill. Much appreciated for the follow.
Woo, thank you.
Why don't we... Who are we going to leave this one with? Let's just do it random. Oh, okay, perfect. Cyber Bro. Lucius Julius Julianus, you're out doing a bit of sword training with your squire. Your former squire, rather. Or no, I guess he never was your squire. Your charge, let's say. The one they call Finnegan. You look over, and from the fog, you see what looks like a small contingent arriving through the fog. I need a heraldry roll.
Okay. Because my first question was going to be, are they human or,
Yes.
Okay, they're human. Oh boy, this is bad. Heraldry. Where's that at?
Should go fine, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. You don't recognize the individual heraldry, but you do see the banners of Cornwall. They have banners of peace on them, and I think you met Prince Mark, right? Previously?
Yeah, we didn't talk very much, but I have met him. I would direct Finnegan to go back to the keep and inform Lady Olwen who's approaching, and make sure that he describes all the banners. So maybe their heraldry roll is better.
I will note you do not see Prince Mark here, at least. You see that's something you can sort of determine is, okay, Prince Mark is not present. This seems to be another knight. Someone perhaps of some importance, but it's hard to tell. He doesn't wear a crown or anything.
No.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. We'll send Finnegan back with those details, and then I would go to greet them.
Okay. So we'll start with your greeting because it's going to take them time to be alerted or notified. What do you want to do?
I think Lucius would come up. They're here in what I can recognize as the under the flag of peace. So I would come and greet them. Hail and well met, travelers. I'm Lucius Julianus. Lucius Julius Julianus. It is a tongue twister.
Yeah.
I've done this to myself. I would greet them as befitting fellow knights, and ask them how the weather is treating them.
The one in the front, you notice that his shield, his heraldry is just pure green. There's nothing on it. There's nothing other than the color green on it. Beside him, you see an elderly man, maybe he's got to be in his 80s. He has tattoos of woad all over him, and he wears a very simple, he seems out of place. You're oh, maybe that's a servant, but as you get close, you're do I know what? Actually, that's a good question. Do you know what that is? Do you have any hates on your sheet?
So Lucius's few hatreds. I have hates
What is
Irish, hates Saxons, and hates Cambrian tribesmen.
Man, you hit a lot of the raiders in your lands. That's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah. These people have ruined and pillaged your lands from various times, so that makes sense. But the key one isn't there, so I need a simple folklore roll.
Okay, folklore. All right, come on, Lucius. You got this. Hey,
Okay.
success. It feels
This
good.
man is a Pict. Men typically found from beyond Hadrian's Wall to the Great North. They are another, essentially, groupings of Celtic folk that remained, in a way, kind of independent or free from. Well, they gave, you're Roman, so they gave the Romans hell, and so much so they the walls are built to distinguish lands that have not been sort of tamed, and. You have heard reference of some of the Picts settling in the county of Jagant, just south of Summerland, as part of Cornwall. So it doesn't completely blow your mind, but you've heard that the Picts, for the most part, are basically indistinguishable from the Kimry that your fellow Kimry. The only difference is this man doesn't look that way. He looks very not only old, but like set in the old ways of things, the tribal ways, and the Picts held on to their tribal ways much longer than the Kimry did. So, yeah. But the knight turns to you and he nods. He looks like a distinguished man, maybe in his late 40s, but he wears it well. He's got a bit of a facial hair, particularly like a mustache and a bit in the chin. It's salt and peppery at this point, more pepper than salt. He says, "Greetings," and he kind of looks to you to make sure you've got your sword, so he can refer to you as a. He says, "Sir Knight." It's almost a question.
Yes, Sir Knight. Yes, the face may confuse sometimes. Not very many scars on the face, but yes, Sir Knight.
I meant no offense. It's simply that these are times of peace for you, and I didn't want to offer the wrong distinguishing note. Apologies. My name is Sir Meliodas.
Oh, Sir Meliodas. Nice. I think I've given him my name. Okay, yeah.
Give me a recognize roll. You can add +9 to this.
All right. Ooh,
Okay.
success. Feels good.
Meliodas is a famous knight, someone you've heard of. He hails from a part of Cornwall known as Lioness. You know of his deeds, particularly he's famous for his valor, for being just and for being honest. So kind of like, I guess if you were to say like a polar opposite of Mark in a lot of ways, a trustworthy person as far as you're concerned. Now, still part of the enemy.
It's like looking in the future, like a future Lucius. Like, I could be like him. Oh, okay.
We're gonna cut over real quick to, we'll do like a test for Emily and Nicole. Let's just see if you're in the vicinity to have heard it. Maybe you arrived before Rebecca's character, Olwyn.
You want me to do like an awareness?
Awareness test for Beatrice and for Elian.
Oh yeah, success. Shitty one, but I succeeded.
That's fair. success is success. We don't scoff at that. Yeah, I think we're gonna start with Beatrice. Higher roll. You are leaving the apothecary. Probably this is something simple like going to the well when you see Lucius attending to what clearly is knights. Do you have heraldry? You might as well test heraldry.
Do you want to?
I do, just for
You may as
hilarious.
well.
Yeah.
What if you crit?
Yeah.
You could roll a 1.
I have a whopping 1.
Let's see it.
I have a 1 in 20 chance of getting
Roll
it.
a 1.
You got
Roll
this.
one.
You got this.
Oh, so close. You're 1 impassion away from winning. Yeah, you turn. You see the banners of Cornwall, though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but you don't recognize the other heraldry.
Great. I'm gonna look to. I assume my my apprentice or one of my apprentices are around.
Yeah, fair.
She's going to. I think I have 2 now, don't I?
Yes.
So I think she's gonna look at one and say, whoever the oldest one is, whichever one has been here the longest at this point, she's going to say, "Go get Olin." She's gonna look at the other one and be like, "Cadogan and Allian."
As you say that too, you say, "Go get Olwen," and then you see Finnegan come running past you. Yeah.
Finnegan running.
Yeah.
Just
He
Cadogan and
arms too.
Allian. She just points to them. Cadogan, Allian.
Okay.
Go. And she's gonna walk towards Lucius.
Yeah. Allian, you were out by the stables tending to your steed, and then you see the banners ahead, and then you're informed by Beatrice's apprentice.
I was probably visiting that traveler with the girl who I will get back to later.
Yeah. By the way, we did. I gave a name. So her name is Meinwen, and his name is Hugh.
Meinwen?
Yeah.
Okay.
They've been staying for a short while. So you were just talking with him briefly. You kind of, you were talking to him briefly. He was, we'll say he was like out by the grove then. That's fair.
She was the one who is suspected to be Emmerich's child, right?
Yeah, you've been told that now on no uncertain terms. This is Emmerich's daughter.
And she's how old?
12.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And what is Hugh's relationship to her?
His name is Hugh. This will be matterful, so it's a little bit of a deviation, but it's important for ongoing parts, probably. No. I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
So real quickly, Hugh is simply an escort. He's been, he is someone that was formerly, apparently the Duke of Clarence heard of your attempt to locate them and got personally involved and saw to it directly.
Interesting.
Well, if you recall, Elian was part of their whole...
Yeah. They feel kind of indebted to her a little bit.
Seems they're paying that debt back. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
All right. With that, you hear Beatrice's apprentice, which, damn it, we need to flesh them out because they're not going to be 15 forever. So we need to figure out who they are. But Beatrice's apprentice, like out of wind, is like Cornish knights.
Ellie doesn't even stick around here anymore. She just runs.
Okay.
I'm assuming that she's gesturing to where.
Yeah.
If we get the direction.
Yeah. You get the direction. You get basically the entrance to Barrowcrest proper, and not the Barrow Vale way. So then we go to Olwyn. You have Finnegan approach. He ran all the way up there, but when he approaches, he doesn't do that whole. He's courteous. He's not gonna like offend you. So he's like trying not to. He's like, and you're like in a conversation with Minotos, and Minotos is like, well, let's see if he's drunk real quick.
It's 5 o'clock.
I don't let him.
Yeah.
Hide his booze.
I think that's it. I think you're giving him shit about being day drunk once more. And he's like,
Yeah.
I tried really hard today to stay away from the wine. But
Is there a but?
this is always, it's every day. He's like, nope. He's like, I was walking by and I thought I'd take a more scenic route. And while I was doing so, I came upon a peddler who happened to be opening a bottle of wine. Given it was his birthday, you see, and he asked if I wanted to.
I like you, but I am tired of. I feel like it's always excuses, and I really want to see you get better. And
then in comes Finnegan at that point, and he's like trying his best not to interrupt. He looks like he got away with murder. He smiles and slinks into the background.
I feel like Owen can't help but smile a little bit too. Yes. What is it?
Cornish knights. They're at is a convoy, maybe 2.
Man, it. And then she'll kind of glance over at Minotos. See? And then start heading off.
Finnegan will go with you and says, did you tell him specifically it wasn't Prince Mark?
Yeah.
Okay.
I told him I gave all the details, yeah.
He'll add that. He'll be like, it wasn't Prince Mark.
Oh, well, that's good then. I don't believe that I know many others, but they are still Mark's army, I'd assume.
But a fair assumption, milady.
Finnegan was there with us. Sorry. When we met Mark.
You've met Mark a lot, yes.
Yeah, Finnegan was there at least one time when that happened.
Yeah, but he was below the salt.
Okay, he might not have. Yeah. A good look then, okay.
He probably would recognize him, but I don't think he had the same kind of proximity that y'all do, if that makes any sense. But so with that,
I guess regardless, we must make haste.
Okay, we'll move in. I think at that point, unless Beatrice or Alien had anything specific you wanted to do before Olwyn got there.
I mean, Beatrice got there first, which is its own occupational hazard.
Do you want to see if you say something rude?
No, I think she doesn't run up. It's just like a walk.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of she kind of does the can I help you? It's not, it's very Beatrice, very just straightforward, can I help you?
Okay, we'll kind of lead with that, and then we'll start that conversation. Then I'll be like, in enters Alien, in enters Olwyn. So, he says, "Good day, milady. We're here." He looks to the one on the ground. Folklore test for you, I guess, just to make sure if you know this is a Pictish man or not.
That was fairy lore. That was the wrong one. I crit.
Wow.
Weird thing to
Good
crit on.
Chris.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah, he looks right. You don't have hate picks on your
I
sheet,
don't.
do you?
I have hate
Okay.
Irish.
Yeah. Invaded by the wrong group. You know without a shadow of a doubt this is a Pictish wise man. You've heard stories of them dating back to the first invasion from Uther. These men led Uther's armies kind of through all the occupational hazards, let's just say, of marching through a fairy land such as Summerland. And he puts a hand on Meliodas. I'm going to fuck that up a bunch of times. But he puts his hand on the knight's like arm and taps twice as he looks right at you, Beatrice. You get the impression that he is signaling to Meliodas that you are powerful or a risk. Yep.
Ooh. Yeah, so I think she waits for Meliodas to finish his sentence, however long a pause there is. I don't think she breaks that silence.
Do you have your child with you?
Yeah, probably strapped onto her back.
He looks to you and he kind of looks like past you a little bit, and there's a warm smile, and he says, "A young one, congratulations. My name is Sir Meliodas. We were separated from our armies when the fog came, but we were in search of this place, if I am correct. In Inter Elian at that point."
Elian is she threw her armor on in a hurry, so she's just adjusting it so it's on properly because she has learned not to go in without armor and weapons. I take it I need to do the heraldry and folklore as well.
Mine as well. Yep.
Nope.
Sure are Cornish knights.
Sure are the Cornish knights.
Nope.
Ooh.
Does not recognize the pict. She's like,
you can do a you are a knight though. You can do a recognize roll +9.
oh, to see if I know who Meliodas is.
Yeah.
I recognize him.
Okay. Yeah. You were gone obviously for a while. This is not someone. I think he'd be more like your age now. Like if you never went away to Faerie, you'd be 49. I think if I do the math correctly.
Yeah, I'd be
somewhere in there.
Age, yeah.
Yeah. So,
That'd be my age
but
group.
he was a nobody really when you were around. So this is you've heard of his reputation since then. Yeah. Of being an honorable and just knight. What is Beatrice's response to Meliodas?
Why? Surely you want to speak to your academy.
Well, unless your king wishes to surrender to my king, I imagine that such a diplomatic treaty is off the table. And I can assure you that King Idris will not be surrendering anytime soon or retreating. But perhaps we could speak of less dire things than war.
That seems difficult.
Yes, that does seem a little difficult.
Where exactly do you think you are?
He looks to the pict, and the pict. He looks to the pict, and the pict nods. He says, "If I'm not mistaken, this is Barrowcrest Manor."
She looks at the pict. What do you want with Barrowcrest Manor?
he looks to, without saying anything, he looks like obviously he's ripped and stuff, but he's also very old. And he raises his hand, and he's got a bit of a shake in his hand.
Yeah.
But he points to the Barrow Vale.
That's cool.
Elian kind of leans towards Beatrice. She leans down because Elian's kind of tall, and she goes,
Oh yeah, Beatrice is short.
Is this a druid? I've never seen one like him.
That. You want into the Vale.
Sir Meliodas cuts in at that point and says, it's not so much that we want in. We did have orders to cite it. I volunteered, actually, to lead this. There are many rumors about this Barrow Vale from the people in Jagant.
I mean this very as courteously as I can. We're currently on opposite ends of a war, like it or not, and you want a tour? You want us to show you the Vale?
Well, I thought perhaps we could trade.
Or...
And then he motions, and you see Bowie being brought forward.
God damn it, Bowie.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of Beatrice's reaction. It's like a very slight look of like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
He
So
was like, why would I trade? I could just capture.
something to consider is there was people thought Bowie was dead.
Happening.
People thought Bowie was dead, though. I will add that.
yeah, but
like
still,
Bowie.
there's definitely a look of like, come on, man.
Uh,
Can I
Like,
be
I'm glad to see
darling?
you're alive. Really?
I don't know what state he's in, but
Yeah.
probably some sort of like cheeky bow. Nothing's wrong in the flesh, darling. Sort of.
Jack Sparrow.
Yes.
but you have heard of me. Yeah.
Which have heard of me.
Yeah, so at that point, Meliodas says, I will treat with your, the lady of this house, if possible. I believe her name is Lady Olwen.
She's been sent for.
And with that, Olwen's in distance, you can see her approaching.
Like
Can't
full
we
on, like
Yeah.
Cinderella running, like gown, like up to her knees.
Would you, or would you simply be walking at that point?
I think if once they get within
Misty.
eye shot, I'd be like doing a little like power walk sort of thing.
Yeah.
But definitely up until that point, it's like okay, everything's fine.
And
Yes.
before you
Powerful.
get there, Meliodas is like, he kind of does this like, how old is your kid again, Beatrice?
We're bordering
I think almost 2.
almost 2. So Owen's child should be
Oh,
2.
about 3.
My child
Yeah.
is probably 1.5 or like.
Yeah, he.
I think they might be 3, but yeah, it's around that
2.
age.
We haven't. This is the first time we didn't test for 1 year for childbirth, and then we tested this year. So that would be 2.
So Meliodas, he kind of dismounts from his horse and he pulls a blade of grass out, and he kind of puts it up to his mouth, and he uses it as a whistle, like in front of your kid, and your kid just kind of.
Does he get to me and my
He
kid?
doesn't get very close. He's very
yeah.
respectful with distance, but your
Yeah,
kid
I mean,
actually. Your kid actually giggles, and you're kind of surprised. Like, you're not used to a knight. You haven't. I don't think you've even heard like a stranger make your child giggle before. So you're kind of like he seems to have he seems to be pretty good with kids.
Yeah.
Like, this is
That's why they sent him. They
Are
heard the
you
rumors that we're
father?
lousy with babies.
Yeah, lousy with
Yeah,
babies.
lousy with babies.
We've gone full circle.
I've been spreading it around town like lousy with babies.
Lousy with babies.
Yeah.
Are you a father?
Quite recently, yes. And
How old?
he'll be 3 this year.
Boy.
Tristram.
Whatever side we're on, I hope he grows up well.
His mother and I will do our best.
Oh, we
And-
really. She gives like the look of like the beleaguered parent of like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I know that.
No one
Yeah.
has any idea what they're doing. It's perfectly fine.
In enters Olwen.
Yeah.
Yes. Good morrow to you, sir.
You see Bowie. It's presented.
Ah, great. Well, good. I'm glad that he's survived again, despite the odds. I expect that there's some sort of trade going on then.
If you might, milady. My name is Sir Meliodas of Lioness. I've come here truthfully. We've heard the rumors of this Barrow Vale.
So then you must also have heard how dangerous it is.
Indeed. I was asked to cite it and confirm the rumors amongst the locals. And I thought perhaps rather than a ransom, we might come to an exchange.
I think Olwen will look at Bowie, like briefly try and figure out if he's worth it.
When you got to do that to your
Very
secondary
overwhelming.
character like that, you're like, yeah.
This asshole.
Just a reminder to Beatrice, the Goblin Market, they were telling you they were worried about the pigs specifically because they're familiar with how to capture fairies.
Mm-hmm.
There's one.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Not specifically capture, mostly
But
true.
they know how to, they know how to like do stuff with fairies, and the fairies are afraid of them. And ask you specifically to protect you from the pigs.
Fairy lore tests, maybe I'm going to give Olwen a +3 on this.
Everybody, fairy lore.
Yeah,
So technically, the Barrow Vale isn't where the Goblin Market is.
No, I'm just telling you for the record.
Oh yeah.
That's.
I was
So I
like,
wasn't sure if that was remembered.
I failed.
I know nothing about fairies.
Nope. I'm.
Ellie knows
I
everything
should
about
know,
fairies.
but I don't.
I succeeded.
Oh no, Ola knows everything about fairies.
Elian and Olwen, you recognize that their spear tips are cold iron.
Where did you learn about Faerie and the Veil? Who's been saying such things?
The people of Gigant, milady. They are veterans of Uther's wars.
Is it the consequences of my actions? Well. Why? You have so many wars going on. Why fight another when you are Why spread your forces so thin?
We're not here to wage war with the threats beyond. We're here simply to understand if it's a viable threat.
Hmm. And yet, you arm yourself the way you do?
We were armed not for here, milady, but for Summerland in general.
Should I make an intrigue test on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not gonna bother. Ellie doesn't like it, period. She's spent too much time among Faerie to be okay with cold iron.
Oh, yeah. Owen's not okay with it either.
No,
But, like,
it's like,
success on intrigue.
she's also just not very intriguing.
Yeah, this is like someone being like, it's really important that you have this specific metal for a sword. And he's like, does it stab still? Perfect. Like, he doesn't believe. You can tell there's like no real direct. Like, he probably
Like,
hasn't had an encounter. Yeah, he's being informed
He's
to
just
do
like,
this.
oh, okay. I'm
if it's
taking this
necessary.
specific.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he's very truthful. On his 17, in fact.
Oh,
And you get that impression.
fine.
I will say, I don't quite like this idea. But I also feel that if I say no, you'll go anyway. Is that a correct
Perhaps I think
assumption?
one of us.
He ponders it for a minute. I do have my orders, milady.
It's what I figured. Give me one moment. And then she will convene.
Yeah.
Cadogan arrived.
Yeah, Cadogan's here too. A good point.
Did Minotaur follow me by any chance?
No, we to get more wine.
Yes,
might have
but
escaped.
he is smart enough to stay at the distance and observe a bit.
Yeah.
Despite
I'd
being
assumed.
drunk, he is not like peeing in the bush level drunk right now. So
Good.
As he so frequently is.
Progress.
When they convene, Beatrice will kind of look at Owen. The pick is a wise man.
Well, he seemed honest.
I assume like me. No, that's Sir Meliodas.
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 Meliodas. The pick beside him, the old man. Imagine. I'm imagining kind of Merlin-esque person.
sorry, that was in character or out of
That
character?
was in character. I should
Okay.
make this.
When you said I imagine, I was thinking you were asking that real quick. Sorry, forget my intervene.
Beatrice
No.
isn't whimsical. She doesn't imagine.
I was gonna say,
Yes,
it's not like a Merlin, but like weirdly ripped.
A weirdly ripped old dude. He's
Nothing.
not inconsequential.
No.
He also, I'm pretty sure, knows what I am. He signaled the knight next to him when I walked up.
Interesting. So they seem to know a great deal about us.
So if you show them the veil in exchange for Bowie, I would ask, no offense to Bowie,
Oh, he's...
I would say no touching anything, no casting anything. I would make criteria.
Yes, we can absolutely make some sort of counter offer. And
Anybody
That's
else?
probably the best
hand
bet.
them over before we show them the veil.
Yeah.
After all,
As you all walked off to have you convene, I would make a point for Lucius not to convene with you.
Okay.
Since I'm from a,
Okay.
since I'm from a different government, just to make sure I don't
Government spy.
just to make sure I don't like cross any lines there. I'm very sensitive to that.
That's so noble.
and of course it's noble.
But yes.
She says, standing directly next to Cadigan with his many knives.
Yeah, Cadogan will be a part of this little
Yeah, he's always part of it. I just assume he's there.
cohort.
Doesn't always say something.
But
he's
yes.
there.
So,
Where was I? What was I saying?
I suspect. Continue. I was just going to say, I suspect that they at least learned from Uther's attempted invasion, are taking advantage of Pix knowing how to deal with the Faerie. After all, was Faerie that essentially ousted Uther. Cavi was relying on them to prevent further invasion. Will explain why the Faerie had been so concerned about such mortal passings.
Yeah. That would explain, yes, why Mother gave us the
But the brothers three?
contingencies and such that she did.
My
Sure.
Goblin friends also threatened me over them,
Oh yeah, by the way, Alien would for sure have told all of you about the brothers three, and she's kind of fangirled a little, and she told you about them.
so if you make a deal, I would counter offer and set some out.
Absolutely.
They don't get
They
to
are
just
in a
walk
war.
around and do what they want.
No. But from what I gathered, they'll move in either way.
Oh yeah, I would.
So it is better to.
Out of it.
Quite so.
Right?
Do you?
What do you want to
them?
ask for?
I'm curious. Do you want them to encounter the Fae, or do you not want them to encounter the Fae?
Do I want the Fae to be encountered by people with cold iron spears? Absolutely not. But do I want to abide by the deal that I agreed to?
Well,
yes.
You don't have to agree to let them see Faerie. Just take them to the Veil.
Yes, I'm not going to offer anything that they don't ask for. So
Exactly.
far, they've
I'm just
only
asking
asked to see the Veil.
Either way, if you want one or the other to happen.
However, that man, as Beatrice said, probably seems to have some sort of idea. So there's a possibility that he knows how to get in himself, as long as he can reach crossover site.
Don't let him do anything. That's my advice.
Well, I can't exactly stab him in the back.
Well, I mean, show him the veil. Don't let him do anything.
Right.
Touch anything, breathe on anything, talk. Nothing.
So long as we guide him, we have a certain level of control.
I suppose so. Yes. Quite, indeed. So we're saying yes, but no touching anything, no speaking.
Intrigue rolls, all three of you.
Oh, that bastard is listening in.
Really
4. We'll give Cyberbro one too here.
Oh boy, intrigue.
Success. Thank you, intrigue.
Failure. Almost a critical.
You see that Meliodas looks interested in something, but you can't really see what he's kind of paying attention to.
Though I don't know if it means anything.
No,
to tell us
that's for
out there,
Lucius. That's for Lucius
Mm.
with his failure because he's so close. For Beatrice and Olwen, he seems to be kind of like looking, almost like staring, but in like a polite way towards Menodos.
God.
Menodos and Meliodas, just to make things impossible for us.
I think Beatrice leaves the meeting. I think Beatrice is like, okay, decision made. Like,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
steps back in front of them. Beatrice
Yeah, we're just gonna let Olwen negotiate the details.
Right. We have deemed that this is an acceptable offer, but we have terms we would like to offer as well, what is agreed upon.
Very good. As I assumed you would.
We will show you the veil. It's no ridiculous when I'm saying it out loud. Look, but don't touch. No speaking? And she'll kind of briefly glance over to Beatrice, like questioning.
She looks specifically at me.
No casting.
Nothing that would be no chanting, no rituals, no any of that.
My comrade informs me that you have something they call the sight. You may watch over us as we go and observe our doings. My orders are simply to sight and inspect, not to
I definitely
cast. He says, like, in a confusing way, like an unbelieving way, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, Beatrice was looking at the pic where she was like, you and I both
Yeah.
know what I'm referencing. Not
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be willing to go with them.
Cadragan goes, and I will then as well, of course, my lady.
Yeah, people don't know her. They're just like, good
Mhm.
night, doing his job. It's like, nope, it's very
That's her
beleaguered.
husband.
Olwen,
Me.
she'll look back at her. Are we offering hospitality or not?
Probably.
Dungeons are in very good shape.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
The dungeons are in very good
That's
shape.
what I thought you said.
Oh.
I don't like
I don't like the idea of
hospitality.
letting, I don't like the idea of letting soldiers of an enemy army to upkeep.
I don't either, but sometimes, as I've been learning, you must do things that you don't like. And that's part of wartime.
Beatrice will
Would
look
this
at
not be sexable
you want the
again?
escort.
Hmm?
She's looking at the two guys. She's like, do you want to just, like, while these two are having this conversation, Beatrice just motions
Alien
towards
goes
Dale.
through.
Like,
You know, whatever
Yes.
the lady says. All right.
Meliodas and Vic.
So we're gonna go. Yeah, Alien will go with. She was just throwing out there. She's like,
going, and she was like, this is a conversation that shouldn't happen in front of guests. And she's like, well, we're walking.
Do you want me to take Mena with Taliesin up to the manor?
You don't want to go with
I do want to come with.
lady. Lucy is here, of course, welcome.
Oh,
Well,
Yeah,
yes, we could use all the help we need.
I don't
sure.
think you
Let's
should
get
send
a fun
Menodas.
walk.
Alien goes, I don't think you should have Menodas. You know what? Finnegan, come here. Bring Morwana back to with you. I assume your practices are okay with watching your baby.
Oh yeah, my apprentices would probably. This was part of the deal.
Yeah,
So
So
they
she has
take-
Finnegan because she's like, Minota's the other person here. He's up with the drag, so she's just, I'm assuming
I'll give it
Finnegan's
to
nearby.
I'll give.
And she has Finnegan take. We're running back to the apothecary.
Would your apprentices mind watching Taliesin as well?
Oh, they're all just taking all there.
Okay, perfect.
So, and then
As we
Allie.
work out babysitting.
Okay.
go into the veil.
Yeah, so you see them go into the veil, and they do some.
I'm right next to them the whole time.
They do some inspecting. After a while, the old man, you notice that he actually seems to indicate, like, where you guys have been and experienced a crossover site. Those without sight and those who have no experience crossing over have no idea. It just looks like it's a continued valley, right? Even with the mist gone, there's like it's really unclear and hard for the eye to see, right? But you can tell the old man seems to be able to recognize it more from like tracking, probably tracking that set of tracks from the entourage that just came out a few days ago and returned. They seem content with that. They don't do much more than that. Meliodas seems surprised, like the tracks come to an end at some point in the battle. Like it's a lot of tracks, and they're big tracks. He seems less
giant, wasn't there?
Yeah, he seems less startled by that. I think that's the one thing you guys find fascinating is the giant part doesn't seem to throw him off. So to make matters short, within an hour, they're satisfied with that. And they move to exit. And
Do they exit as in they leave the land, or they just are ready to be done?
I think Meliodas will ask if you would offer us but a dinner and a night of rest here in your manor, we will be on our way first thing in the morning.
We can make space. And of course.
The majority
of
the men will sleep outside of like the tents basically. Mm-hmm. It looks like a little tournament's taking place here or something.
How many are there?
2 Conroys. There's probably about 25 knights and about 50 fighting men overall. 50, 60, somewhere there. Certainly enough to be a threat of a raid, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the knights are going to be having like night watches because we're paranoid.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think Cadogan, Doggett, and I set that up.
Yeah, that sounds about right. They recommend it to Olwen, get Olwen's approval to do so, and it's a long night.
I think she will also specifically say something to Minotos about the possibility of wanting to be as clear as possible.
As clear as possible?
Clear-headed as possible?
Not drunk.
I thought you were going to try and get them drunk.
Not drunk.
I thought you were going to have him try and get them drunk. That'd be funny.
Over the meal, there's a little bit of a conversation, and Meliodas is like, he's actually like a fun guy, especially with the way you he's very lighthearted for someone that's a ruthless, probably murderer, like all knights are to some degree. This is a man, like, chivalry doesn't exist yet. If it did, he would probably fit fit the category. And he's got a lot of stories, you know. He does bring up fighting giants in Cornwall. Apparently it's quite a problem in Cornwall, or has been in the past. He talks very highly of Duke Orlot and his wife Igraine and the daughters. You find out his wife is Prince Mark's sister.
Great. Awesome.
And you find out he's the king of Lioness.
See. So is your wife the Queen of Lion?
He smiles.
This is the 5th king I've met. Sick.
Just meeting kings everywhere I go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just meeting them like, you know. Like,
How do I get in on this king business? Yeah.
how do I get into this game? Well, I'm Roman, so I wouldn't want to be a king. You know?
Yeah.
They have to think it's king.
You will be Kaiser.
Yeah.
He says, I'm curious, like while he's trading with you all, he's like, he makes sure like there's like a point where none of his knights are around. It's just the grouping of you all, and he says, I find something particularly fascinating, and I was hoping you would entertain me. I
Certainly do my best.
Of course. Perhaps I should start with a tale. A tragic tale, really. Starting with the death of Duke Orlot. When he passed, it was under threat of King Uther's invasion. Many know the tale. There are those who, from the lands of Logris, that would swear by it that the Duke had done King Uther wrong. But most with any familiarity with what occurred after would realize that it was the late king's lust for Igraine that drew him to Cornwall, that led him to a dispute for it. Any sort of... But it seems that the Duke escaped by way of night from the lands of London, and the king took great slight to this. It gave him an opportunity to call the Duke a traitor, formally. And with this, he brought his siege to Terrabil and to Tintagel.
That's awful. Just for leaving the court.
The two were old rivals when King Aurelius was the High King.
Does Allian remember this at all from... Because Uther was a prince back when she first disappeared.
You remember a little bit of the stirrings of potential, like some gossip around it, but it wasn't any like coming to blows of any sort, right? So
Yeah, I was in the early stages.
yeah.
They were young.
But you would imagine that Aurelius, like, being out of the picture would be a problem for them all. At that point, he says, the reason I ask, or to continue on with the story, the king did win that victory in Cornwall. Uther then proceeded to marry Igraine, and though many have forgotten, Igraine did give birth to Uther's son. There were many, and his eyes glance over to Minoros. He says there were many who were sent to seek after the Merlin who stole the baby away from the king. I've been hearing rumors amongst the courts about a winter prince who they say came from the lands of Avalon, and he looks over to Lucius Julius Julianus, and he says, and they say that this winter prince has found his way to Summerland. Now, I might be crazy for thinking this, but this is a great many coincidences here, all at once.
So many that you've lost me.
Does Uther's boy live?
There's all sorts of legends and rumors at any given time.
I hope then... Sorry, go ahead.
Some people tend to hold on to whatever hope or inspiration drives them forward. If there's any shred of doubt from what I've learned at the temple, not temple, it's not a temple. Is it a temple?
Church.
Church, yes, well. What I've learned down there, they very much think of faith a lot. And faith is often, strangely enough, strengthened through doubt. I don't know if that helps, but... You're muted?
These are not matters I've been assigned to ask. It is to say that if there is an heir of Uther here, you should know that there are a great many threats to keeping such an heir here in Summerland, of all places, during a Cornish invasion, including, well, it's just that there is also amongst us mercenaries who would care about such things. There is and he kind of looks to Lucius, kind of like, well, you're Roman, right? I kind of look, he says, there is a late praetor from Swazon, Siagrius is his name. He's actually the one who's been asking questions. It seems that he feels very betrayed by the late King Uther and his line. It is where I came upon this rumor. So if there's any credence to these rumors, I would, and you are in the know, I don't ask that you inform me, only that you take this into consideration. Such an heir would be under great threat here.
I do appreciate your warning, and it is noted.
Are you warning all of the manors you come across of this?
What was your comment?
Are you warning all of the manors you come across in Summerland of this?
Only the ones that have the late king's bodyguards as their guests of the court. And his eyes look to Minotaur's.
Is Minotaur's drunk?
Yeah, I think you're picking up on that, maybe, because I don't know if you recognize... Did you recognize him, Cyberbro? Do you remember if Lucius recognized the drunk as one of Uther's late dudes? I think you did, right? So you realize that this guy's picking up on who that is as well, basically.
Yeah. Mm.
And you're realizing just how bad this looks is like, oh yeah, Knight of Avalon, Winter Prince. Yeah, well, he doesn't know who you are.
True.
Former direct servant of King Uther. Surely, rumors of a Winter Prince.
Yeah.
Be the drug metallicin.
Aeroquest is a funny place. Lots of things tend to wash up, as it were. I don't tend to ask too many questions about people who are down on their luck or need a chance to redeem themselves. And if they want to be better, I like to help make them better, if they're willing to put in the work.
That
He says that a bit more pointedly, too, at Minotaur's.
Yeah. He's hanging his head because he's like, oh shit, I'm in trouble here. But Meliodas says, that is noble work, milady. And you don't get the impression it's like, you've heard Mark use those kind of courtesies. It doesn't sound, it sounds sincere, I guess.
It sounds genuine, yeah.
With that, he'll kind of move on to like less poignant conflict and just try to be merry for the rest of the night.
Beatrice will ask
Wasting
him,
their drinks.
just generally, how did a king end up looking for a barrow veil?
Well, before I was a king, I was a knight. It was my father's passing, I suppose. He doesn't want to say this next part, but he says, I'm what you might call a petty king, milady. And you know what he's saying by that is basically Cadwy is too.
Yeah.
It'd be like the king of a county.
Yeah.
You know? They have people called counts in other counties, not kings, right? So it's he's like I was a knight first, and I remain so.
I think Lucius would come forward and say, well, a king is still a king, just to be a little bit reassuring as he looks embarrassed.
He smiles, and I appreciate that gesture, and I'm not ashamed of what I am, only humble enough to accept that I might be called to war by he who I owe fealty to, through my service as a knight, and twice by my marriage to his daughter.
I think that hits Olwen a little bit, given the whole Cadwy thing. She's just like, oh, this bastard. So loyal to him, and he's sleeping.
Anything else pointed you want to make out of this? Because I think this is going to go on like this for the night, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think we've made, or I've made all the points that I would want to make.
Beatrice asked him about his kid. I mean, we've got kids the same age. They do the parent thing.
Oh, absolutely. They probably gab for hours.
Lousy with babies. but as like something to break the tension. I think Beatrice asked him about his son.
Yeah, he goes on. You can tell he's like a very active father, but he's sad to be away from his son as much as he has. He explains that this war has kind of been his first full time away for like over a winter, you know. But
So
yeah,
Owen will relate to that, talking about how she has to leave. She won't go into details, but no, I have to leave to noble work and such for seasons at a time. Awful. Something like that.
There's probably some
don't have to
awkward
play it.
conversations where he tries to talk to you all about your set, and he says, since there was no mention of the Lord of the Manor, he'll assume that the Lord's passed, and he'll send his condolences for the Lord of the Manor, not being aware that there isn't a Lord of the Manor.
I think Owen will probably think, oh, you mean ages ago?
And this is even more awkward because Owen ages at half speed, right? So so he's like, well, I'm just not going to ask any questions about that. Because he's
year-old.
Beatrice is like, have you met my husband? Just throws Cadogan under the bus. Just hate the situation. She's like, here, introduce him.
Yeah,
Poor Cadogan. He doesn't
Cadogan will like do his best.
The last one. Oh my god, I just realized.
What about you, Sir Elian? Are you married? Have you found yourself a wife?
I had. She passed.
I'm terribly
She
sorry
was,
to hear that. I would like.
Years ago.
He looks to Sir Lucius like, should I even ask with all these bad answers? Like, maybe I should just, so he doesn't bother.
It's a long. Lucius was just saying it's a long story.
She could have answered worse. She could have been like, I'm a woman. But no, she would have had a
That could
wife.
have been worse.
I was sitting there thinking like, yeah.
But he just. It's hilarious. And she's like, no, I did. She passed. He does not realize she's a woman. This is hilarious. It would be even worse when he figures out that Elian is a woman.
Yep. Lucius, I need you to I need you to test Amor since it was brought up.
Okay.
Something
test
we don't.
my more.
Ooh, woo.
We like Meliodas. Meliodas.
Do we?
I like him. I think he's great.
You may ticket.
We
All
like
right.
him personally. We don't like what he has to do.
Yeah, we don't love what he has to do, but he's a stand-up dude.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
He's
Good
fine.
dad, like
Got it.
Yeah.
solid dude.
And he rose through the ranks. He was a knight. Now he's a petty king. He's also a dad. There's hope out there.
Right,
for
I guess
him.
he's delightful.
Care for his wife and child. He's just a
Elian's
Exactly.
like, I'm hoping you don't die in this campaign.
You can have it all.
Yeah.
Listen, we are part of the Meliodas fan club.
We're on the other side of an army from him, but
With that, who isn't here right now? Who do I need to draw some attention to? Give me a second.
how is Bowie?
I was
Doing.
gonna ask that.
Bowie's treated really well, but he's probably not test proud or modest.
On Bowie sheet?
Yep.
Okay.
That's gonna go great.
Fine. That's fine.
I'm gonna start using Cadogan as like a throw in any awkward conversation now. It's like, but have you met
Have you met Cadogan?
Throw him and walk away.
Oh god.
You said test modest or
gonna hate
proud,
it.
as in whichever's higher?
No, if they're neither is famous, you get to choose which one you test.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's a success on Bowie's modest.
You can tick it. You are dealing
Hell
with
yeah.
the disgrace. Well.
Yep,
now,
that tracks.
Yeah.
He's stopped functioning with it by everyone being like, you survived, and being like, yes, it was Specia.
I want you to next test loyalty to Lord. Or lady, whatever way you have it in your sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Is this like a full scale dinner, like with music and dancing, or is it just food?
It's probably like a miniature feast. You know what I mean? Smaller party, but yeah, there's some stuff like that. You could definitely. There's probably like 10 of his knights that are. Do you want Olin? Do you want this outside or inside?
Outside.
Yeah, more of a spring. Jesus, an autumn festival. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm definitely not eating the swan. I know the swan. I'm not eating any of it. I've had enough swan.
We don't have swan. We've got bream, frumentary, and almond omelets. Almond omelets.
All right. We're gonna go to our only break of the night, and then we're gonna pick up with the third act here. We'll go a little bit later than normal, but it's just because it's Halloween. I'll try not to keep you too long, but we'll. Yeah, we'll be back.
The sorcerer of the ages, the guardian of ancient secrets, and the voice of the old ways.
Do you think that the stones of Rome, with all their grandeur and might, could blind my sight? Do you believe that because I stand beneath foreign skies, far from the mist-covered hills of our sacred isle, that I am not attuned to the whispers of the wind, the songs of the earth, and the cries of the spirits?
Foolish. My eyes see beyond the limits of mortal men, beyond the walls of Rome, beyond the seas that separate us. Time and distance are mere trifles to me.
Let me show you just how far I can see, and you will understand the true extent of my power. Look around you and see the world as it truly is. But before we can talk of what is, we must first talk about what was. All things that are to occur have origins that birth them. Britain's fate has turned sharply over the past century. Constantine brought peace and knighthood to the land, but he was slain by the treachery of Vortigern. This led to Vortigern's rise and the Saxon threat, as the Saxons saw an opportunity to invade and conquer the land. Vortigern's tyranny sparked a rebellion, and Aurelius Ambrosius restored order, introducing feudalism and knightly warfare. Uther's lust for all that was not his fractured the realm, leaving Britain in chaos and vulnerable to Saxon conquest. The Saxons have seen an opportunity to invade and conquer the land, and they have taken advantage of the situation. It is not just the Saxons who have their eyes on the fractured kingdom of Logres. There are many great warlords who would take advantage of this time of anarchy. Cerdic, the last living son of Vortigern Tyrannus, not of his first wife, but the Saxon Rowena. He is more Saxon invader than person of Britain, and for that the people of this land will reject him. He poses a great threat for Britain, should the Saxon warlords unite behind him. King Idres is as much an invader of Britain as the Saxons. He represents the worst in men, an opportunist who will claim at any cost. He is amongst those who would profess that might is right, and for that I would wish him a swift end, but for the growing concern that his son Prince Mark would be far worse. Nanteliod, the descendant of Vortigern the tyrant, and Vortimer the people's king? Of all the invaders of Logres, he is the most worthy. But most is not to say that he is right as a high king. The land will decide. It always does, for the land and the king are one. None should forget of Lot, a great North king from a line of great North kings. He is without fear, but for that of his deceitful wife Margals, with enough time, he will unite the North against Logres and settle a score that his people have been waiting generations to settle.
But are those that still stand in place of a Logress king enough to hold the invaders at bay? It is uncertain. The Saxon invaders are powerful and numerous, and the Angles are also a threat. The land is vulnerable, and it needs a strong leader to defend it. If the land falls, the invaders will not stop until they have conquered all of Britain. Ulfius, the perfect duke, a dear friend to Uther. Despite his disdain for my presence, I can say that it was no fault of Ulfius's counsel that Uther let his nature consume him. I suspect he would run me through if he had the chance. Even so, he remains the barrier that Logress needs from the Saxons and Angles, who press their advance further west. Duke Corneas is one of the rudest and most stubborn of men I have ever met, and it is in these qualities that he defends Logress from the north so successfully. It was a blessing that he did not meet his end when Octa and Eosa sacked Lindsay. I will share a secret with you now. It is what I have seen. It is not in these warlords that the fate of Britain will be decided, but in the caliber of the next High King and the qualities of the knights who stand beside him. The knights of Britain must be strong and loyal, and the High King must be wise and just. If they should falter, so too will the land.
Didn't get this
We're live.
gold.
Hi.
Yep. Okay. So yes, back to Beatrice's question. Yes, this is like we're not going to do feast rounds, but it's a feast. No, but you can do things like it were feast rounds. We're just not going to do the where you seated, all that jazz. Yeah. Maybe we'll do a quick initiative order type thing. Well, since you had a question, let's start with you. What do you want to do? What is your? Sounds like you want to do something. Yeah.
It was dumb.
No.
Generally, we're Summerland. We dance. That's a thing we do. Some are better than others.
Yeah.
Because I am not a good dancer, but she does it anyway. So Beatrice would probably want to dance with Cadogan at some point, but what she really wants to do is that she hasn't seen Lucius dance. And she would really like to make that happen. But she's a terrible partner. So added difficulty.
Host calls for a dance.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess the host can do that.
Owen's like, yep, happening. Let's go.
We're outside too, so I imagine
you.
I'm gonna give the Finnegan a look like avenge me.
I want to end with Cadogan at the end of the dance because I'm trying not to have him stab people in the middle of this, but I want to see Lucius dance. So
that's fair.
I'll make Lucius dance.
All right. Put on your dancing shoes. Let's see.
I just haven't seen it happen yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want someone to trip over like a little.
There we go.
2 left feet, just like the rest, y'all.
Woo! I'm slightly better than you. I did not do better. I did exactly the same. Exactly.
At least we're terrible together, you know.
Yeah. Love it. Sorry, I know that wasn't the most serious thing in the
7,
world.
8, 9.
Yeah.
That one's a success.
Yeah, the only one who can dance is Olwen.
Yeah. Everyone else is like, we're doing great, and then you see Olwen go by with whoever her dance partner is, and you're like, oh, whatever. Yeah.
You test Cadogan. I want to see if he magically does well.
All right, let's test. Yeah, because we have to figure out it at some point.
You're left.
You're on the left.
For when Cadogan and Beatrice are dancing with the stars or whatever eventually. One second.
Yeah, you know, we're working on neither of our skills can score any year. We don't get any better.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same every
That's
year.
usually how it works.
I practice at home to get it down.
How was he? He wasn't terrible. How did we have him at that high? That seems ridiculous.
What is it at?
7?
Probably
Oh,
roll for it.
yeah, it probably was a random one. All right. He's just apparently been rolling like trash because he and I have not been doing
Yeah,
well.
and he continues with that. So
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
All right.
yeah.
We all suck except Olin. It is solidified. These poor guests.
I guess, yeah, who would Owen's partner be for the beginning? Because Owen, you don't have a lot of guests. Yeah. It'd be
You have a guess
Minotos, Meliodas, one of the random knights.
Roll for it, I guess.
He's a king.
It's up to you.
Who's
I
your
mean,
main guest?
Sure, I'll go for him.
Yeah.
But
okay.
I mean, goodness, his poor wife and my lord is dead. Ooh. Scandal.
Ooh, woo.
Oh,
Yeah, he
no.
also doesn't do well, but it's
Oh
okay.
no, everybody's trash.
Oh, that's okay. It's so charming. No,
The
like
band is
this.
just like, what is going on here?
We're also all outside. And
The funny thing is, it probably makes Olin actually look bad because everyone's like doing their own thing. And
yeah,
Olin's like,
everyone
just,
is.
no, what?
We're just doing the Pulp Fiction, like, I keep doing this, I'll be all right.
Yeah. Got one move and I do it well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll continue on for a while. We'll do like awareness rolls from y'all.
Okay.
Awareness as his men stab.
Success.
Ah, Lucius, my God.
Lucy, this is not Lucius's day.
God,
It's not-
I don't know what it is.
Not a lot of people's day, apparently.
Wow.
I called that one, predicted it.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Me
Yeah.
and Allian succeeded.
Yeah.
I think some of you notice there. So those who succeed, you notice there's like a bit of a. There's a bit of. How do I describe this? Like, you can't say it's not directly where you're at. It seems to be off more towards like the edge of the grove and the stables, but there seems to be another gathering there. And you hear like laughter and other stuff happening. Mostly laughter.
Is the pick over here?
You don't see him.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Hanging out with the fairs.
Can I sneak over there?
You want to sneak over, like be all sneaky and stuff? Yeah, you
I mean, I
can.
want to go over there. I just don't want to draw a lot of attention to myself in case it's like a not.
I will accept a dex roll to be quiet enough to get over there without being sighted.
Nope.
Yeah, just like the dance moves. Don't.
Trying to like dance,
It's
sneak
when you're
over.
outside and it's fall and there's all these leaves on the ground and she's just
It's just
picking up all the
crunchy.
leaves.
Yeah.
And she just leaves.
I guess is Beatrice kind of continuing with the dance? I imagine you're not like gonna be immediately.
I think she's caught sight of it. I think she would have done a couple of dances and then like
Hilariously enough, we can say that you saw Elian try to sneak away over to go investigate.
yeah, okay.
Crunch, crunch,
Yeah.
crunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's growling like the Pink Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
I'll follow. I'm just gonna walk.
Spiteful my
I'm
sounds.
just gonna not sneak at all and follow. I'm
Sorry.
just gonna walk. I'm
You're
curious.
you're also gonna exit the dance early?
Yeah,
Okay.
once the dance, I'm gonna let the dance finish really quick, and then I'm
Okay.
finish the dance with Cow again, and then I'm gonna be nosy.
All right. Yeah. Well. Okay. So we'll get a little bit of time from this then. So as you go over Elian, you see the rider, the messenger, who or whatever. You now previously you knew he was an esquire, right? You see that he's This is probably why he's escorting your kin, because he's got a loot. Is that what I'm thinking? Yeah, and he's entertaining a bunch of the Cornish knights. I say a bunch of the Cornish knights because, let's be real, you guys, every one of your knights, all 6 of you are accounted for or whatever. So it's the Cornish knights that seem to be like paying attention. He's standing up on this big rock, and he's got this almost like red carpet underneath it. You can tell that this guy yeah. You can tell this guy must do this, and probably knew your brother quite well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. What do you want to do with that?
Is Minewin there?
Yeah, she would be.
What is she doing?
She looks bored.
Why?
I think she's gonna like turn. You catch her as she's slinking off. She almost like runs into you. Sorry, Sir Knight. And then
Minewin?
she stops. Yes, Sir Knight.
You may as well call me Sir Elian.
Very well, Sir Elian. She says like a tween, with some attitude.
Does she remind me of Emmerich? I feel like she does.
I think she reminds you of that really young Emmerich. Like, yeah.
Does she look at all like him?
A bit. She has his eyes.
She's like, you are so much like him. Okay.
She looks frustrated with that, and she's like, who? The one responsible for making me? You can tell he probably didn't do her very, very much justice, aside from being responsible for her existing.
Yeah, no, he was a bit of a fuck up, wasn't he?
A little bit.
She told that to her. He was a little bit.
She has no. You are a part of her frustration right now. I think that's what you get the impression of. Not because of anything you did. Circumstantially, you're against some. You know, you're gonna have to wear her down probably, or like she was just pulled out of whatever kind of situation she was in, which was stable, and brought to another land that's all foreign to her, under the understanding that she is the heir to some guy that wasn't around to see her life. So
we're gonna need to have.
You know what she will say? She'll say, was he at least rich? Do I get horses at some point? Or a manor, perhaps?
There's a manor. It's currently being stewarded by someone else.
Is this really what nobles do?
Have children and run off. It's not typically supposed to happen. But my brother, your father, was never one for following the rules. So I mean, none of us, I think the rest of the family, none of us are great at the rules, but he was definitely the worst.
Whatever. I was brought here, and then now there's a war, invaders, but then Aren't these men are Cornish, aren't they? And then
Yeah. The lady of the manor makes the decisions, and one day you will be a lady of the manor should things go well.
can you do me a favor?
Depends what it is.
Can you make him go back? She points, like, motions to Hugh.
I wasn't planning on keeping him around, to be frank.
Good.
Do you dislike him?
It's just weird.
Weird in what way?
He just talks to himself sometimes. I don't know. Just don't like him. And then she kind of like goes to walk off.
Okay. Don't go far. There's some young, well, and she looks at, she knows where, like, this squires or apprentices would be, like Finnegan, but she's younger than them, so she's like, I don't know if that'd be who she wants to hang out with.
We're gonna give Lucius and Olwen another awareness test now. As Beatrice and Cadogan and the dance comes to an end, you see that there apparently is a larger crowd forming. That just Lucius just like
just staring off into the moon, wondering if my lady is looking at the same moon.
Like there's different moons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, success.
We'll say, just for hilarity's sake, we'll say Olwen and Lucius were the last two to dance together. And at that point, Olwen, you see Beatrice wandering off, and you see like a little bit of a gathering over. There's more than just Beatrice, so there's like 10 or 15 people. It's sort of like, why are there a bunch of people over there? Like,
Why was there supposed to dance? Oh. And then, like, before the dance is over, she's like gonna just fully walk away, I think, from Lucius. Like, I guess it's over.
I guess I would follow. Like, did I go like a left, or was it supposed to be a turn? Like, I'm following, but I'm trying to figure out like what was the right dance move I was supposed to do.
like, man, I was so close. Yeah.
I was like,
close at all.
Like, she just fully stopped. Just like, oh, I guess it gets better. And
Right.
she'll start wandering off.
Okay. So there's quite a bit of a cheer as you all start to approach. I'm gonna be honest. I had to do like a quick drop for this guy, but this is who, and he probably looks like he's like maybe 20 or 21. He said he's an esquire, so he's probably 21. So he's aged out of the squire program and was not named a knight, which doesn't shock anyone who looks at him. But he looks like intimidated. He looks around, he realizes there's a bigger crowd. He's like, oh, it's gotten busy, hasn't it?
You know the tigers on the road to Axbridge?
I don't. Is that a local one?
Oh. Yes. I suppose.
There's one I've learned quite recently. The
Please
words,
talk.
not yet. It's a poem, really. might I share it with you all? And he looks to Olwen, who's obviously the...
Hello.
Indeed.
I think there's a quick, glance over to Beatrice. Like, a sort of suspicious, magic, question mark, look.
Beatrice, I'm gonna be honest, the minute she realized that it was some dude playing the lute,
Probably walked...
she kind of lost interest. She's turned because they have guests. She's realized that no one has stayed with said guests. So I think Beatrice has now gotten to the point where she's backtracked enough that she still has eyes on the pick. I don't know if Sir Meliodas came with us. But she's making sure that she's positioned where she has eyes on them, so she's no longer in the close run of what's going on. It's once she realized it, she moved back to a position that she could see everyone.
You see Meliodas and Minodos both standing and talking.
I want to get close to that conversation.
Right? God, that's so much more interesting.
Intrigue that direction.
Right. All right.
You want to stealth crunch, crunch, crunch?
Oh, when you go to look at Beatrice, and Beatrice is gone.
I'm
or
gone.
rather, walking back in the other direction.
Oh. Well, I suppose so.
Well, thank you, milady. It's not well practiced, so you have to forgive me if I should make any mistakes.
And I was so hoping to use up our rotten tomatoes.
He snickers. He clears his throat.
Ooh, spooky.
He says, along the shore, the cloud waves break. The twin suns sink behind the lake. The shadows lengthen in Carcosa. Strange is the night where black stars rise. Strange moons circle through the skies. But stranger still is lost Carcosa. Songs that the highest shall sing, where flap the tatters of the king. Must die unheard, dim Carcosa. And then you see him reach for his side, and he has a knife. And
sand?
You go to reach for him?
No, it's...
If I'm close enough, I would jump the, knight and all that. I would let's get a knife. Get him.
You go to run forward. I'm assuming that he, this is kind of stage thing, so there's a good 10 paces between all of you and him standing on this rock. And you see him begin to stab out his eyes. First one and then the other. And he says, "Song of my soul, my voice is dead. Die thou unsung, and tears unshed shall dry and die in lost Carcosa." And as you tackle him, presumably you're still going to tackle him, or when he does that with his eyes, you stop?
Still going to tackle him.
Yeah. Just give me a straight strength roll as you dive and tackle him.
Come on, Lucius, put your shoulder into him.
I think anything but a fumble, you're taking him down. It's just a matter of...
Why would you do that, dude? Why would you do that? You did that on purpose. You did that on purpose.
Yeah, Bob, that's on you.
That's not
Blame Bob. That's on Bob.
Hold on, we'll see. There could be a reroll. We'll see.
I think while we see, I think Owen is just standing there with a look of horror and shock.
Give me a sec before you do that.
Lawrence asking if you want an advantage because he thinks this is hilarious.
That he would think this is hilarious.
That's right. You
That's
got
up
it.
to you.
You got
Neo
it.
gave it to you.
Yeah,
Mark's the
you may
hero
roll
this
again, good sir. Yeah.
Okay. I just get there quick enough to say he's dead. Hey, success.
Okay. Yeah, you tackle him off, and when you tackle him, you and him go behind the rock, and the rug he's strawn over the rock kind of falls to the ground now. And for Elian and Olwyn, before you on the rock is the strangest of symbols. A sign garbed in black and some strange dye of yellow. It looks, I suppose, something like perhaps a pagan symbol to you, but one neither of you've ever seen. And I need both of you at this point to start.
Sanity roll.
Yes, there is no sanity. You will be making a spiritual test.
It's a bare failure.
Okay.
But it is a failure.
I need both of you to with that failed. I'm trying to remember what I was going to do with the patch. Your I had a plan for what was rolled next. That's right. I need both of you to make a con test -5.
Weh.
Success.
Okay. Both of you you kind of pull free after a moment, but it's like you're in a trance and you look around and there's like people that are helping Lucius contain this man now, but there's a number of like your commoners, the knights that all just remain in trance staring at the sign. Like that's the most interesting thing, not the fact that someone just took their own eyes out.
Mm-hmm. I think Owen's gonna go to the commoners and try to gently like not jar them out of it, but like gently touch them on the shoulders to try and just.
They come to upon contact. Each of them will.
Can I try and get rid of the symbol?
We'll get to that. While you're doing that, I'm gonna check with Beatrice, who hears the screaming and all the mayhem, and you are furthest away now.
The one time I walked away, I was like, yeah, that would happen. That's all right. Had no idea. I was like, oh, this is a bard. It's fine.
Fucking bards.
Yep. That was pretty much Beatrice's reaction. She's like, oh, yeah, okay, fine. So yeah, I think she'll kind of come towards the group to see what's happening.
You see a symbol that you remember a brief glance from.
Just for giggles, can she look at the group with sight?
You may make a sight test for Elian. We're gonna get you to do. You're trying to like. What were you? How are you trying to get rid of it?
So is it? Let me make sure I'm clear. Is it like drawn on? What is this symbol made of?
It's hard to tell. You can investigate it a bit.
Okay. Yeah. Just wanted. Yeah, she has to figure out how she's going to get rid of it first.
Yep.
So what is that going to be?
Folklore.
Folklore.
Yeah.
Great.
You can add a +3 to it. And Lucius.
It's a tongue twister. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Failed by 1.
Understand. We'll get to that in a second. Lucius, what are you doing? You've managed to contain this guy. You've got other like knights trying to help you out right now.
Okay. After I've tackled him, I'll direct the other knights to contain him and hold him here for the lady of the manor. And I'm going to look to Olwen for direction after I'm sure that he can't, produce another knife and like finish whatever he was doing.
You look up and you see all of a sudden, this is before Olwen's eyes break. You see Olwen and everyone else just staring at the rock. You haven't seen the other side of it, but you're like, what? It just seems really weird. They're not looking at what just happened with you. Like the whole group is just entranced by the rock. And you can't see the symbol because you're on the other side of it. Yeah.
Do I see Finnegan in that group?
No. Nope. Finnegan's over in the dance part proper. He wasn't aware of this happening.
Okay, good to go. Yeah, if this is all happening at the same time, I would yell out, "Milady, directions, milady!"
And then as she does that, starts touching the peeps to get him, get our people out of here. And the knights as well. But
okay.
Priority to the commoners. Or
Right.
the villagers, rather.
Nothing to see here, people. Nothing to see here.
Alien, you go to like kind of try to clear it, like to get rid of the symbol. You can tell it's been like carved into the rock just slightly, almost like a certain amount, so that whatever this dye is could sit proper and not drip or drool. So he's probably, you remember, you're like, oh yeah, this is where I ran into him earlier today. Just not quite here, right?
Yeah.
But, and as you're kind of looking at that, you put your hand and you touch it. I need another con roll.
It's just a straight con.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Fumble.
Ooh.
Oh, buds.
You are entering madness for the night. You go catatonic and then begin to convulse on the ground. Beatrice, who utilized sight, may also do a con roll -10.
Oh,
10.
no.
Let's go.
Come on, buddies. I believe in you.
That makes mine a whopping. I almost just added 10.
Good.
Yeah, fail. Not a fumble, but a fail.
You look at the rock, and for a moment, you see that symbol. You did a sweep of your sight, right? It's trying to look for. You see the rock, and then all of a sudden, your view is not the grove, but is this strange land, this strange vista. During the day, you look up and you see 2 suns in the sky. You feel like you're not here. And there's something very, yes, I've been to Faerie. This isn't Faerie.
No. Beatrice doesn't even like Faerie.
Yeah.
Okay. I assume I'm stuck. Is that correct?
You are staring for
that's
probably
why I didn't do anything else. I was like,
probably
just chilling there.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay.
Elian, you come to at this point. You stir to, but you are maddened. You are completely insane at the moment, and you're having a bout of it. You know that what you just saw is something that you should never ever see, and you know that there's a power behind this. This is for someone who has the pagan background. You're not like, oh, this is the devil, but there's something that just a feeling, an instinct that this is not your pantheon. This isn't your gods. This is something far more foul. Yeah, there's something wrong here. Do you say or do anything in your hysteria?
I don't really think there's much anything she can.
You we'll carry on then. I think we're going to end on a little bit of a confusion point here.
Yeah.
The Knights of Cornwall will depart, but and we'll assume that this man's detained if for nothing more than questioning.
Oh,
though
absolutely.
He is entirely insane at this point. It seems like whatever triggered that moment hasn't left him since it occurred.
When Beatrice comes back after 2 minutes,
remember, this is the guy too that was pulled off his horse and tied to the post when you all helped him.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yep, I sure do.
Yeah.
Because the Spirus was wanted in bed because she said the gods told her to.
Yeah.
Once Beatrice has hit a point, because this is back by the barn, so we were like outside and then back by the barn. They were having this gathering ish
Near the edge of the grove. Yeah.
edge of the grove.
Yeah.
Okay, we're still in townish.
Yep. Close enough.
Is there? So when you slaughter animals, there's a lot of blood. I'm looking for like a bucket of it or something that is opaque.
Okay.
So anything that she can find that's like that.
And what is your intent?
Oh, I'm throwing it on the symbol. Beatrice,
Okay.
the minute she comes out of it, destroy it. Like, she's not touching it. She's not going near it. It is the immediate, like, grab something opaque, ideally blood, throw it.
Okay. You throw the bucket of blood and you see it cover it, and it stains and sticks, and there is no more yellow on the rock. Though the blood seems to fit nicely into the carving portion of the sign. It still remains red enough where it's hard to see, like, you know what I mean? Like, it looks like it's damaged.
She accomplished her task of at least marring it.
But the problem is that you now dream of this.
Yeah.
And so do you, Elian.
Yep.
It's got to get in line. Got goblins going there. I've got the goblins going. That guy, like...
Listen, we needed a Halloween episode,
We
okay?
did need a Halloween.
Okay. Otherwise, maybe I agree with you. But this is what it is. Why don't we do some outros because it's super late for y'all, and then we can put this on the list of problems for Barrowcrest.
Yeah.
Eldritch gods.
Don't worry, you're not the only ones that have ever encountered the yellow sign in this setting, so you're all good. Rebecca.
Most of them are just dead.
Hate it.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I played Olwen. And yeah, just continuing to make very good decisions in my time as a leader. Help me, please.
Emily.
I'm Emily. I played Beatrice, and Bob has succeeded in scaring me shitless again, as he normally does. So, it's a good one. Bob is freaking me out, which means it is working.
Nicole.
I'm Nicole. I was Sir Elian, currently driven mad, finally, somehow. And happy Halloween, and Danish says goodnight too. Danish is already partially asleep. So he'd be like, why did you wake me up?
That's fair. It's tough, but it's fair. We'll go to Cyberbro next.
All right. I'm Cyberbro. I played Lucius Julius Julianus. And remember, kids, knives don't go in eyes.
Hey,
True.
No.
First
Solid.
lesson.
you didn't think your costume as a chef would come in handy.
Oh no!
Yeah. I can tell you a thing or two about knife safety. They don't go in eyes.
It's true.
Welcome to this TED Talk.
Mhm.
All right, and I'm Bob. I run this channel. We do a lot of Pendragon here. We're going to be doing some Call of Cthulhu, so why not a little bit of a crossover into the Tattered King? But yes, this is a little bit of a Samhain. We try to do, with a seasonal thing in Summerland, we try to make a big deal out of Halloween whenever we can align it. And yeah, it was... let's say I had an intention to do this tonight, but I expected the other stuff to be like an hour and a half, and then this stuff to be like 2 hours. Whatever. It's fun. I had a good time tonight. I hope you all did too. We run on Fridays and Sundays, as well as today. We also do a little bit of open Pendragon. If you're interested, join the server and check it out. If you liked what we do here today, I'm on a road to trying to get to more than 200 and something followers, so I'd appreciate a follow from y'all. No pressure though, of course. And yeah, we have all our backlog on YouTube. If you're interested, check it out there. Finally, it looks like we'll be putting together a Masks of Nyarlathotep campaign of Call of Cthulhu that will probably happen either in December or in the new year. Realistically, we'll find out if it happens sooner. Don't hold your breath. But yeah, we have a new cast, and that'll be a fun thing probably on Wednesdays. So if you're interested in watching, let us know. I've got the cast together, so we should be good. And I think that's all I'm going to say tonight. Let me go ahead and pick a raider real quick, though, or somewhere to raid, because we have 8+ people. So.
By the way, fumble count was at 2, everybody. I have been slacking on my job, but I counted tonight. We had 2.
That is not the worst, though I always call it with those comments.
That is far better than we normally are. We've been up to like 7 or 8 before, so...
I usually roll better.
In a row once.
Listen, it was not Lucius Julius Julianus's night.
It was not.
It wasn't his night. He had a day.
A lot's going on. This stuff doesn't happen in Avalon, Like,
yeah. I like to think of him at the end of the day, just like hands on his hips, just like that was
Summerland.
Yeah.
I loved it. Summerland for Lucius. I love it. Specifically because it sounds like a theme park, and we are creepiest, worst theme park of all time.
It is kind of a theme park, isn't it?
Summerland.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Mort, Fort, and Gort have done to build defenses.
That's the thing, is I was like, they can come in our ramparts because they're going to be different the next time we see them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's going to be really unsettling for them.
We're gonna raid out to the worst of
No.
times because they're playing 10 candles and it's creepy and
Ooh, spooky.
do it.
oh, it said I'm unable to raid. What the hell?
Ah.
Boo.
Ooh.
Try again.
Spoopy raid.
Unable to raid. Okay, let me quickly pick someone else then. Fine.
Yeah.
Fine. You don't get my raid. How's
Fine.
that look?
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me a sec here, folks. All right, we're just gonna pick someone else. Ultra pissed.
Ultra boost.
I love it. I love it so
Are you
much.
saying
Matches
you're
my mood
ultra-pissed
right now.
Or you're rating too.
Yeah.
ultra-pissed?
Yes.
Ultra.
Yeah.
Yes and yes. And
It's always good to answer an or question with yes.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. And we're going in very soon. Very soon. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait. Okay, we're going. Bye bye.
Lewis.
I